All right, we will be live in about 30 seconds once Aaron sorts his blouse shirt out.
Ready?
No, I'm never ready. I'm always ready.
Good afternoon, it's Edge Radio Australia. Malloy with you, and it's time, of course, for the greater wealth. I've got Derek Whittaker to my side, the shave monkey himself over there, Mr. Carter. Are you ready for an amazing show? Actually, not well shaved. That monkey is crying. What can I say? Just don't show us the other end. That's all I want to know, all right? Just leave it at that. And with that, we have got one hell of a show coming up, even sound bites, okay? And if Travis has done his job correctly, we'll even have them in the correct order.
Got dumped on me 20 minutes before we went live.
Mate, work with the pressure. You can do this. You can do this. Derek, mate, lots of stuff to talk about. I am really just chuffing at the bit to get into today's show.
It's going to be great. A real doozy happened in the last few weeks. Where a couple of comedians, Vavan and Lexus, were posing as Zelensky. And what they did is they managed to get an interview with Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank of all people. And her confession was quite interesting in regards to them pretending to be Zelensky.
Oh, come on, tell me more.
The thing that I find hilarious about this is how they managed to keep it.
Borat style, right? It's got to be.
It's really, really interesting. So we've got this queued up, and I think it's worth a listen in relation to what she actually reveals.
Let's see if Aaron can actually do what he needs to do.
Are you ready? Would you like me to hit the button?
No, it's up to you. Just gotta hit the
Okay.
button.
I have a question
By the way,
about.
we can't
I'm also a good user
I
of
can.
electronic money. So my question, you're introducing the electronic euro, as I know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can switching to an electronic currency help?
Well, two things. Number one, it will be decided in October. So we are preparing the ground. We want to be ready. We want to be trained, but it will not be decided until October 23.
Mhm.
The reason I'm personally convinced that we have to move ahead is a situation like the one we are in now. We are
Mhm.
dependent on the supply of gas by a very unfriendly country.
Mhm.
I don't want Europe to be dependent on an unfriendly country's currency. For instance, I don't know, the Chinese currency, the Russian currency, the
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
Or dependent on a friendly currency, but which is activated by a private corporate entity like Facebook or like Google or anybody like that.
I'm user of Bitcoin too, so I had bought it when it started, and I hope that it also will work through the special system. And I know there are many protests in Europe against the electronic euro. What is the reason?
It's the beauty of Europe. It has different positions. If you ask in Northern Europe, for instance, in the Netherlands, they're quite happy to see the e-euro coming. If you ask a young German man, he'll say, yeah, fine.
Mhm.
As I said, I don't want Meta, Google, or Amazon to suddenly come up with a currency that will take over the sovereignty of Europe. I don't want a foreign currency to become the currency of trading within Europe. So we have to be ready.
No, the problem is they don't want to be controlled. They don't want to.
Yeah, but you know what? Now we have in Europe this threshold above 1,000 euros, you cannot pay cash. If you do, you are on the gray market. So you take your risk. You get caught, you are fined, or you go in jail. But the digital euro is going to have a limited amount of control. There will be control. You're right. You're completely right. We are considering whether for very small amounts, anything that is around 300, 400 euros, we could have a mechanism where there is zero control. But that could be dangerous. The terrorist attacks on France back 10 years ago were entirely financed by those very small anonymous credit cards that you can recharge in total anonymity.
Hmm.
Well, boys, I'm not often lost for words, but I was so lost in that. I don't know. To me, it kind of seemed like, I don't know, a blueprint for 1984, quite frankly. That's, yeah. She's been doing reading. I mean, that's important. She's expanding her mind. Okay.
There are 4 observations from this fascinating admission. It's one of those ones you listen and you go, okay. Number 1, the rumors were
Daft as shit.
Oh.
Didn't realise that was-
the rumors are true
Mm-hmm.
that they plan to have a CBDC, a centralized token, digital currency, has been confirmed. The plan to roll that out is October 2023. It's interesting to see who she sees as friendly and unfriendly nations in this.
I thought that was a really interesting comment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, look, okay, the world needs a place to do its laundry, and that's the perfect spot. I'm so sick and tired of hearing, like, oh, this love affair with Ukraine. Okay. And having said that, I've got a couple of friends from that part of the world, right? And they consider themselves very much Russian Ukraine. Okay, simple as that. Because,
They thought they were like Western Russia.
well, look,
Sorry, Eastern Russia.
They are
It's-
cousins, and that's the point.
well, I was about to make that point. Exactly. Actually, truth be known, that's exactly what was said.
Mm.
Literally, their cousins are on one side of the border and they're on the other.
Mm.
So it's very much from the same part of the world. They use the same language, all of that sort of thing, right? So I just find, for a long time, though, let's face it, places like Belarus, places like Ukraine have been used for money laundering. They have been used as the place where very, very, very insanely filthy, wealthy people have been cleansing their money. Simple as that.
Is it rich or filthy? Morally.
Oh, morally corrupt, yes, and rich, both of those two. So I find it, I just find it, I don't know, it's frustrating to see everyday people, citizens all over the world, who've just fallen for this propaganda that, we must save Ukraine. Ukraine's wonderful. Look, yada, 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 yada. I'm sure the people of Ukraine are wonderful. As I say, the people I know are absolutely fantastic people. But Zelensky, come off it. Really?
Anytime you see Hunter Biden getting paid to FA from government.
Yep.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
They just scream corruption. If that's what's going on.
Oh, look, and Hunter Biden is a Zippo lighter and a bloody, can of petrol. The fact is, anywhere you see that man, right, you know that there's dirty deals going on. And let's face it, they've got to look after the big guy.
The other one I want to point out, the moment mainstream media says these are the good guys and these are the bad guys,
Yeah.
start investigating.
Yep, absolutely. Question everything.
Well, we questioned this ages ago. Why is Australian taxpayers' money going over to support this? And it's really, many people are interpreting it this way, that it's NATO using the Ukrainians to do their dirty business, and in terms of trying to weaken Russia through that. Getting back to what she said, I think what's fascinating here from Christine Lagarde is that she reveals her fear of some other entity crowding the playing space and issuing a currency, and she repeats that. It's playing on her mind. I saw footage of her some time ago too of getting cut out of the game, and that's really interesting because he or she who controls currency controls the game, has power.
Spot on.
And so that's something that she labels. We don't want a Facebook, we don't want a Google to control that commercialized entity. And of course, you'll remember that Zuckerberg did have plans to roll out a currency at one point.
Absolutely.
In terms of Facebook and people integrating and using that was kind of shot down by the SEC, I think. But it was very interesting to see that the game is, hey, you're crowding our space now. And she keeps repeating it. I think the other fourth observation I came out with that is that she, without admitting it directly, but yes, sure, and kind of dismissing it, she admits that there is overreaching power using this technology by governments and banks potentially
that's a
in
good
doing
point.
that.
It's funny because this goes hand in hand with another show.
Yep.
Russia.
China?
Had me a lot of gold. Actually,
Iran, Saudi Arabia, others like that.
Yeah, they're all joining.
Yep.
Like the main five have purchased the same amounts of gold.
Sure.
So Arafat started talking about having that currency. The head of Hussein.
Saddam
all of a
Hussein.
sudden- Yeah. So all of a sudden, there's weapons of mass destruction. So I still don't understand how the US president was war crimes. But that's a whole nother kettle.
That's a whole different road, Warren. I think what's interesting here in today is looking at where Europe is positioned here in this whole conflict and that. I mean, they're not really calling the shots when it comes to the Russian-Ukraine conflict here. They really have fallen the cue from what NATO has said, what the United States has done in terms of the Democratic administration there. Trump, of course, is saying, man, I would sort this whole conflict out in 24 hours. You'd get on the phone and say, we're having a meeting. We're having a meeting.
Well,
It'd be on a plane and it would be sorted in
Trump
48
has
hours.
a spine.
Yeah.
Trump has a backbone. He actually went to North Korea, South Korea border and actually met with the North Korean leader. So you know he gets shit done. Whether you like him or not, he actually for more peace because he is batshit crazy than any other leader because they know he will press the button.
That's right.
And not only that, but he knows how to do a deal as
Yes.
well. He's a businessman and he's written a book, with the art of the deal. He knows how to negotiate.
And let's face it,
And I believe him. He would solve it in 24 hours. I reckon.
Well,
it's true.
I think he solved a lot of problems in the Korean conflict, in the sense that I think a lot of them would want to go to war over that situation,
No doubt about it.
or heighten the conflict there. He said, "Hey, instead of going to war, let's make money.
Yeah.
Let's make
Which-
Korea a huge attraction for the rest of the world. Let's build some beautiful golf courses. Let's make you a centerpiece.
Yep.
That's smart."
The other thing I've noticed with the way Trump handles things versus how Biden does it, I find Biden is very reactive to things, where Trump gets on the front foot. And it's like playing cricket. You never win matches by being on the back foot. You've always got to be on the front foot. So the thing I find with Trump in this situation, I think he also being a businessman. he
Travis, can I
understands
just
the
interrupt you
policy
for a
of
second? I'm
business.
sorry, mate. We've got some interference coming through from that mic for some reason there. Do you want to just jump over to the other one?
I didn't even know we had one.
Let's try that. Let's give that a go.
Here we go. I'll just lay down.
There we go. Are you comfortable?
I'm very comfortable.
There we go.
actually.
Well, okay. Well, there.
So with just going back to the Trump point,
Mhm.
he understands the importance of contracts.
Sure.
And what is a peace agreement between two countries?
Mhm.
It's a contract on how to behave.
Of course.
So you got to understand, why did Russia, and this is one of the reasons why I always say the why is sometimes more important than the what.
Sure.
Why did Russia invade Ukraine? Because Ukraine got asked to join NATO, which is against the peace.
And the whole
agreement.
idea, of course, Ukraine was supposed to be the buffer zone, effectively,
Spot on.
right? Right.
So,
So-
this wasn't a war started by Russia. No matter how much the media portrays it as a war that was
Mhm.
started by Russia, it was actually started by NATO.
Well, look what's happened in the last sort of few days with all information coming out about the fact that there are American troops on the ground in the Ukraine. Okay.
And they
They-
also said they'd never let tanks or equipment
spot
to
on.
Ukraine. Haven't
Spot
they sent
on.
a heap of planes and tanks over there as
Absolutely,
well?
spot on. Absolutely. So, make no mistake, this is a quasi-war. That all they're doing is literally using Ukraine as a front. NATO, America, is at a war with the USSR, with Russia. Boy, am I showing my age? But this is what's going on, and I'm so sick of the propaganda. I'm so sick of the lies about it, and I'm cannot believe how complicit the corporate media is in this entire process. These are people's lives.
Listen,
Okay,
they're a part of it.
exactly.
So no, I'm really, anytime mainstream media says, "Oh, these guys are the bad guys," I always start looking elsewhere.
Thoroughly agree. Now, gentlemen, shall we go for another sound bite?
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
All right.
You might be wondering who that
I was
was.
about to say, talk us through that one.
President William Ruto of Kenya
Mhm.
warning about US dollars. Now, we've been talking this, that appeared on Flourish TV. You can check
Sure.
their YouTube channel. We'll put that in the show notes. But yeah, it's really interesting to see that starting to creep through too. Now, that's a bit of a heads up. We've been talking a lot about the US dollar, the integrity of it. When you hear a president of a nation come out and say something and practically give financial advice about a currency,
I hope he's qualified for that.
you've got to start taking note
You really do.
of what's going on there. What's interesting about that too is what Trump had to say about the US dollar. If you want to clear that up.
Our currency is crashing and will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat, frankly, in 200 years. There will be no defeat like that. That will take us away from being even a great power.
Since the fall of Soviet Russia, the United States has been on.
All right, I'll just fade that out because I can actually hear
Yeah.
the news report over the top.
So there you go. So Trump's warning on the collapse of the US dollar as well, and saying that will be the biggest catastrophe we've had in 200 years financially.
You'd have to agree with it. Absolutely. Yeah, that will actually, it'll remap the world forever financially. No doubt about it.
So what I've been saying over the last few months about what is going on, these are significant things as far as the financial world is concerned, in terms of CBDCs, in terms of the US dollar. When you start having political leaders of the notoriety of Donald Trump, the 42nd president of the US, saying things like that, it gets your attention.
Yeah,
and
but
here
hang
is a
on.
man who knows business as
No,
well.
no, he's a common criminal. I mean, he doesn't even know how to fill in his paperwork, right?
He pays other people to do his
Exactly.
paperwork.
Yes. Just my tongue could not be any further in my cheek. I think I just licked the couch. That's how far into the cheek it is. It is so ridiculous when you're watching, whether you're a Trump fan or not. I mean, like people talk about Trump. Okay, I remember years ago someone said about your fantasy dinner party who you invite, right? And people saying they'd invite Trump. I wouldn't, because he would drive me nuts. Okay, but you've got at the same time, like, as much as he drives me nuts, and you've got to be impressed, and you've got to actually understand that what he's saying is fact. Fact is important.
You
right?
don't become the president of the United States just on a whim.
No, you
right?
don't.
He's a
No.
smart guy, and he
Absolutely.
was outside the political system. I
Yep.
used to go to so many barbecues where people would say, wouldn't it be great to have a businessman running the country?
How often have you heard that in your life?
You
Yeah.
got it, and then the world said, oh, we don't like it. Why?
Yeah.
Because they actually came in and disrupted, which is
Mm.
exactly what entrepreneurs do. Very
Yeah.
good entrepreneurs go in, disrupt issues, say, we can do it better. We're going
on.
to go this way. That's what he did for a nation. And I think, I said that throughout Trump's presidency. I said, whether you love him or hate him,
Mm.
he is a smart man.
Yes.
Secondly, you've got to look at, don't listen to what he says, listen to what he does. Watch
Spot
what he does. His actions speak louder than words. And what he got done in his administration was just extraordinary.
It certainly was absolutely outstanding. And as I say, so many people just judge him on the man, the way he carries himself, all of that,
Or his Twitter account.
or his Twitter account. Okay, man.
No, and that was entertaining.
Oh,
to watch.
absolutely.
It
Just
was the best thing Twitter ever had going. Why would you shut that down? It was just
Wow,
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
But exactly how good was he for business, right?
Yeah.
And certainly CNN got a lot of business out of him, because without him, they've got no business anymore.
Uh-huh.
Look,
And by shutting him down, they created a competitor called True Social now.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, now, gentlemen, time for a break, if we can. All right, it's Edge Radio Australia, the greater world.
Sun goes down, the rhythm hits. It's just the start of it. Before you know it, we're all on the move.
Hello. All right, we're into in-store, in-studio. You did turn off all the mics, didn't you?
the museum. Radio.
The truth is, this was an emergency mic I brought in because one of the other ones was failing.
You charge money for people coming and see it. They do it. You personally, it's an upgrade.
Damn
It's normally $29.95, but
Mr. Whitaker.
That's right.
you're looking at $79.95.
Mr. Whitaker.
It's a very
can you
long tour
rotate
as
me
well. I
down?
mean, there's 3 rooms. What have we got?
There
You good?
we go. A little bit more.
All right, gents, where are we going next one?
Inverted yield curve.
Hello.
We might need a third topic.
Okay. Oh, we can go back into where we were before, because I think it still had some territory there. What do you want to do?
Where do you want to take it? I was in the, I don't know, are we broadcasting on that?
Yeah, on the in-house mic.
Right.
Taz is in. Hey, Taz.
Hey,
And
Taz.
yes, I did see your message. I've been trying to write a reply to it that doesn't piss off too many people. So I'll put a post out today for you.
All right. Yeah, no, I think we'll.
And for all the other people out there who suffer hay
See
fever,
where this goes.
you poor bastards, because I've got hay fever at the moment, and this nose is just running like a marathon.
Like a tap.
You got a tap.
No,
What have you got?
your nose is running like a tap.
Right.
The best tissues in the world, toilet paper.
I'm so classy.
Hey, if it works, who
We
cares?
all do it. Let's face it.
We actually don't have tissue boxes at home. It's like on all our tables and benches, we've got rolls of toilet paper all over the house.
But it's a bit like when you go to a Vietnamese restaurant, right? Okay, they have tissues on all tables rather than serviettes.
Yes. Because it's probably more hygienic to have tissues, which people can't interfere with, than napkins.
That I hadn't considered.
Mm.
All right.
So,
Okay, gentlemen. So when we come back,
for Taz, I think it's a debate that really needs to be had. The cool thing about debating with you, we know things aren't personal. So we're talking. I won't get you involved because you will take it personally. But yeah, it's a debate about tolerance of different people and their opinions. So I just find a lot of the people on the left have tolerance for themselves, but not anyone else.
I don't know how you take that personally, but all right, fair enough.
So no, Taz is a great one because we've had these debates before, and we can sit there and we can say each other's opinions. And you know how there's a very few people where you can actually show a different opinion to someone, and they don't. I really want to get Taz into the.
I completely agree. The thing with Taz, right? And okay, I used to consider myself a lefty, right? Only slightly on the left, but I was on the left, right?
So you're normal.
Yeah, I would consider myself centre left back in the old days, right? It's not. I keep saying it. They keep moving the bloody line, right? That's the problem.
The scary thing is, Taz. I would class Taz a left libertarian.
Okay.
Yeah. So very like you do you, I do me, but she believes more things on the left side of things.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say I'm more of a conservative libertarian.
Yeah.
So like you do you, I'll do me, but don't push it on my kids.
And that's where I sit now. That's
Yeah.
quite frankly where I sit. And I think that's
So-
where the majority of Australians certainly
Yeah.
sit. But
I think
obviously
a lot of
others-
people are just scared of being called racist and all that.
Yeah,
sort of shit.
yeah.
And so the conversations that need to be had don't get had.
They're just not heard anymore.
Yeah.
Damn right.
And that's one of the things I love about it. Is like she can actually, and she's, you know how a lot of times you debate people on the left and they just scream at you, start calling you names.
Mhm.
She doesn't. She actually sits there and goes, "Oh, okay," and then she'll come up with logical arguments
Yeah.
back.
Rather
So we
than
can
just
actually
throw
have.
names at you.
Yeah. So I'd love to have Taz to come into the show for You Can't Say That, because
So
I think
what?
she'd be a great lefty for it. But kids become an issue. Finding babysitters for the kids and all
Well,
that.
the
sort of
kids can come up here.
stuff. Hey Taz, do you
How
want
old
to
are kids?
are they all in school now, Taz? Oh, Taz, I love you. Sorry, for those who can't see, she says, I hate hay fever. I end up looking like a sneezing stoner after mowing the lawn.
Look like what?
A sneezing stoner after mowing the lawn.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. I've got a big break there.
I love Taz's response to this one here. With friends, I have my opinions. My friends have their opinions, but at the end, we're still friends. You support Liberals, Labor, One Nation, Club Farmer, etc. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you support. We're still friends.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
That's how it should be.
And that's one of the things I love about Taz, because I've never actually asked her who she votes for. She knows I was a former One Nation candidate,
Yep.
and we have some perler conversations. Her
But if you
partners-
don't disagree with people, and you don't want to argue with people for the sake of arguing, right? But you need to have this discussion. You need to get different opinions in. Otherwise, if you sit in your bubble, you just don't grow as a person, right?
Yeah.
And I think of the human being that I am now at this age to who I was 20 years ago. Completely different bloke, right? Completely different bloke. And
Yeah, but that's because you had a debate with me.
like,
Like, as much as I hate to say,
you ruined my life. That's correct. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I've got two people to blame, right? Okay, honestly.
yeah, ex-wife.
Right? What? Ex-wife. Okay, three people to blame. No, okay,
I'm not trying to get this rubbish bin from here.
You've got
Oh, I hit the rubbish bin, but
Russell
bounced down.
Goodrick for getting me bloody back. Well, not getting me back, getting me into politics. Russell Goodrick, that's his fault. And then putting me onto you, mate. Jeez. So those two people, you've destroyed my life.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
But don't you enjoy it now?
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. How much time?
2.5.
I still think Clark Palmer's the dick. Like, I don't like him, but I hate what they've done to him. Like,
Yeah, but okay, he's much like, if you look at it this way, he's like Trump in so many ways, right? He looks at it from a business point of view. I tend to think anyway. And I think Australia would run a lot better if we ran it as a business. I wouldn't like the lack of ethics, right, that some businesses have. But as an ethical business.
And yes, I would be here.
Absolutely not.
I would intentionally come up here to see Christoph go absolutely off the rockers just to watch Aaron try and go pull out the little hair that he actually has. Christoph is hilarious.
Okay.
But absolutely, if you thought I was bad, like Christoph's just on a whole nother level. Like,
what's wrong with Christoph?
There's nothing wrong with him.
Well, there's lots wrong with you. So
Christoph is an amazing. Taz, how would you describe Christoph? So this is the mum describes her kid as Mr. Chaos.
Okay. Perfect. Nothing wrong with that.
And you got to remember, Taz is a fire twirler.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Taz, what's the name of your business? Give it a quick plug while we're here. So they're based down in Rockingham. They do like the fire twirling.
That's very cool, sir.
I just did the eating the fire thing, but then I realized on my camera it looks really, really bad.
All right. Yeah, but Taz, you are very welcome to come up, and we would love to have you as part of the show.
So if you need a fire twirler for parties and all that sort of stuff, Inferno Insomnia, hence her name on the Twitter.
Right, now, sorry to steal you for a minute, Travis. Okay, so we're going to come back with
coffee.
The measurement of inverted yield curves, which is basically, is Australia going into recession?
Okay, 1 minute.
Okay, here we go. This is how you would describe Christoph. This is from the mum. He's Gur, the robot from Invader Zim, with the intelligence of Stewie Griffin.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you sure you want him up here?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. How about Taz? Monday afternoons. Bring the kids. How much longer?
About 30 from 30 seconds. Hang on.
All right. I'm going to switch the mics then.
Okay. Edge Radio Australia, the Greater Wealth. It's what we do here every Monday. And we replay it now on Sunday, which is really, really cool. I haven't even told you that, Travis. Yes. Oh, you listen in. I actually had your microphone off, mate.
No, you did.
I do.
So, yes, I am here. So I was saying do a sound check because we have switched my mic out.
Yes, we have. And you are back in business, my friend. Yes, you were aware that we actually play back on Sunday. Eh?
Yes, because I've been developing the app, which should be out very, very shortly.
Shh, you shouldn't have told people. That's a big secret.
A bit of excitement.
Oh,
I was hoping to be ready to be launched today, but I'm kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
Leaked documents from Edge Radio Australia.
That's right. Exactly.
So a bit of a shout out, actually. Taz is the one that started the initial app.
She did.
Massively
appreciative of that.
Yeah, so we're just hopefully it'll be up on the Apple Play Store and Google. What's the Google one called? I'm an iPhone, so I don't know.
Google, yeah, the Google Store, the Play Store.
Play Store, that's one. It's like Play School.
There's a Samsung store. There's a lot of stores. So you can just, wherever good apps are found and a lot of bloody bad ones. There you go. Now let's talk about money. Let's talk about the greater wealth. Let's talk about finding a life purpose. You got some info here about the big R word, recession.
I want to geek out on you for a little
bit. Here we go. Here we go.
Can we go there? Can we go there? I've been pretty gentle.
We have arguably one of the biggest geeks listening in on Twitch at the moment. So
okay, cool.
We'll see if we can.
This is right up her alley.
All right, we'll see if we can. So, I'm going to try and break this down in the most simplest ways. All right. So one of the ways that the R word recession is kind of defined, it is defined as two economic quarters followed back to back with negative growth in terms of GPD for a nation.
Look, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pick on you here. That's not wrong. I mean, that's wrong. So yeah, this is not wrong. I've got to remember what's science now. Okay. Now I know that's been the standard. That's been the standard for many years.
That's how it's been defined.
Science, it depends on your feelings, Aaron.
Exactly. And the Biden feelings, they found that even though it happened month after month after month, quarter after quarter after, apparently no, it wasn't recession. So I'm sorry, mate, you're wrong. Okay.
Thanks for sorting me out. I'll go back to school now.
Or speaking facts, yeah.
So that's the technical way it's defined.
Yes,
Two quarters back to back, right? And technically, Australia had one in 2021. It went really under the radar.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you actually look at it, it was quite amusing because it didn't have an effect at all. So I said,
is that because our economy is so shit at the moment that we don't know the difference between a recession and a boom time?
There's many theories on that one. Look, it was a case of it went under the radar, and I was asked to present in November last year on. Will Australia go into recession? My attitude was kind of like, we've done it, we've got it over and done with, let's go to lunch.
Do you want sushi, Carol?
Yes. I think I was actually at that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there at that presentation.
There you go.
Here's the interesting thing. So that's how it's defined as a recession. Now, I want to go even deeper into that. This is how traders, this is how economists look at terms of is one on the horizon. They look at indicators, and we call this the inverted yield curve. All right.
Sounds exciting.
It's really fascinating. So what it is
for you, maybe.
Yeah. Well, if you can use this to go, hey, a recession's on the horizon, is that a cool thing?
Oh, it's so cool. Tell you what,
because you can go, right, how do we avoid this? How do we get a defensive mode, or how do we see opportunity?
Derek, you are one of the cool kids, mate. I'm telling you right now.
When you see that, you go, great, let's short Microsoft. Or
yeah, good idea.
That's kind of how we think in terms of, right, where's the opportunities in the market now?
By the way, that's not financial advice. Do not, unless you actually do your proper
call
analysis.
A joke.
Don't short Microsoft yet.
That's right. That's right. All right. Not general or specific. So this is how it works. Bonds, not the 007 kind.
No,
all right?
okay.
The bonds. The bond market works like this.
So bonds.
You would think that the longer, so a bond, what is a bond? A bond is an
They're
IOU.
a set of underwear.
The government says, we owe you money. Here's a note that says basically we'll pay you this amount in interest over this amount of period of time. Okay. Now you can get different time frames on that. You can get the 1 year bond, 3 year bond, 10-year bonds, all that sort of stuff, 30-year bonds. Okay. Now what you'd think is you would get more interest the further you go out.
You'd think so, right?
That's what normally happens. But when the interest rates start getting higher for the shorter term ones, the 1 year ones, the 2 year ones, the 5 year ones, it starts to then distort the curve if you map it out on a graph.
Okay.
And we call that an inversion. It starts going the other way.
Okay.
Right. And that's one of the indicators that economists use to go, are we about to go into a recession?
Okay.
Now, why is that important? 28 countries have an inverted yield curve right now.
So
28
I've
nations.
just realized something, and it's really funny because for those who are not watching online, Derek speaks with his hands. So he's doing all these graphs and showing his hands, and he's waving his hands around. And then I just realized, hang on, no one can see that.
It helps me emphasize it. It helps me get it out. All right. Like I'm doing now.
I feel like he's just selling pizzas.
That's it. Mamma mia.
He's from Chicago, so it's perfect. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, I'm not. No. I'm West Coast. There you go. So looking at the nations, now they've put them in 3 different categories.
Right.
Totally inverted, which means the whole thing's flipped, right?
Partially, you said flipped. Okay,
partially inverted. And then
So
there's
sideways.
minimally inverted. All right. In other words, that in Australia's case, it fits into the latter category, the minimally inverted. What it means is that the 2 year bond is higher than the first year, but the others are following the pattern that we normally would expect. All right. So it's not a full.
So it's like a speed hump.
A speed hump.
You still do your 60 k's an hour.
Yeah,
Just like,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, you can
the
call
faster
it
you
that.
hit it, the less you feel it. So
Depending on which car you drive. Right. I'm not going there. Right. So I know what you guys are like with cars.
Hello.
So this is really, really fascinating, looking at which nations are there, and some surprises too. For example, totally inverted Singapore fits that category, which is not what I was expecting. A lot of European nations, Finland, France, Netherlands are. New Zealand fits into that category, and of course the United States are totally inverted as well. Canada. Qatar is in that category, which is interesting. So, and Russia is in that as well.
quick question: how many OPEC countries are in fully inverted?
Look, I'd have to go through all 28.
Because
Sorry, mate, we've got time.
Didn't about a month ago, didn't OPEC say they were going to reduce their oil production by 40%?
I don't remember
Was it
40%,
40%?
but I do remember they were doing exactly that. Yeah.
So that'd be really interesting to see. how closely linked the oil is to the
bond market.
Yeah, the bond market.
Well, okay, we get back to that whole petrodollar thing of being based in the US, and we're talking about that being weakened, and there's the flow on across the water.
Well, in this mix is what's interesting is that you've got high interest rates and you've
Yep.
got high inflation.
Sure.
Okay. So interest rates are always related to bonds. So that's
Sure.
not a surprise there that there is some distortions in the market going. Inflation's the interesting one because in that mix, you look at a country like our own, Australia, and our unemployment rate is quite steady at 3.5% for March.
Okay.
They're calling this the lowest it's nearly been in 50 years. But the thing is, as Travis will point out to you, when you start diving into unemployment figures, they can be incredibly skewed and make the stats look really pretty.
Let's be honest, it's lying through your teeth.
It's exactly
by
what it is.
selective advertising. So I'm going to throw a question to you, Derek. What is the current participation rate?
It was 6 point something, wasn't it?
You said 6.8. It's a
Yeah.
difference of 0.3%,
Yeah.
which is a big change. So what the participation rate is, the people who just aren't looking for work.
Right.
So because I homeschool, even though I work for myself, I do not come up as unemployment figures because I'm considered a stay-at-home parent because we homeschool the kids. So we rock up in the non-participating workers. We don't come up as unemployment.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Look, here's the thing that I'm seeing, okay, in a real world term, is that people don't seem to want to work anymore, right? They really
Why?
just don't.
Like,
Well,
seriously,
yeah.
why would you work?
I know.
Just pump out a couple of more kids.
Oh, there's hell of a business involved there. Let's face it. We won't go down that one today.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Okay, look, here we are at Edge, and I've said this before. We would love to have an AE, okay, someone to do sales rep position here at Edge.
Yeah.
Put the word out, put the word out, put the word out. No,
Nothing.
you know what?
No
People
one
just
wants to
don't want to do it. No one wants to do it, right?
Why work when the government gives you absolutely everything you want, and then you wonder why inflation is going through
Because you
the
feel
roof?
achievement, and you're showing your children that this is the way to go.
But you can only bust your ass and get nowhere for so long before you go, you know what, F it. I'm going to stay at home. I'll do a couple of cashies and I'll get so much more further ahead than if I actually did it properly.
So sad. So sad. Yeah.
I'm noticing, and I'm working on a couple of deals at the moment. I can't give you the full details because it's still very, very concept stage, where there's so many people out there that are actively going out of their way to remove the government out of their life as much as possible.
Yep.
So what's happening is all these people, this whole community, will not show up in any of those stats.
Right. Yep.
That's
So-
an interesting point.
Yeah.
And I'd want to know what percentage of that community is.
There's no way you could tell because a lot of these people, you send a census person out, say, hey, what do you do for work? They go, oh, stuff.
Yeah.
Like they'll do everything they can in their power to totally remove themselves away from the Australian.
And do you blame
Australian
them?
government? No.
Honestly.
Well, here you go. One of the lessons that Stephen Pettit, one of our, my day job, I do video editing for a finance company. One of the presenters there says, always have an exit strategy. And I hate to say this, our exit strategy is to flee to Vietnam, a massive socialist country. I find that we have more freedoms in Vietnam than we do in Australia.
That's terrifying. It
And
is
that's
terrifying.
where you know the government's seriously stuffed up. So
We used to see Australia as the lucky country, as being so
no,
free
it
and
still
so
is.
free.
It still is.
I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I
because
love this country, but I'll tell you right now, we are at war with our own government. Our own government is financially screwing us, but worse than that, socially screwing us.
The biggest problem with that one, and this is again the whole purpose of the greater wealth, so many people don't understand the rules for what they're doing. If you understand the rules and what the government's trying to do, then you can protect yourself and get massively ahead.
Yes.
There's so many opportunities in Australia at the moment. It's not funny, but you need to know the rules. The
That's
people
right.
who just go in blind saying, no, the government will look after me, they don't get absolutely screwed over.
The government isn't your dad. It's not your mum. It's not there to actually protect you. It's actually there to exploit
No, they're
you.
your slave driver.
Yeah, they are there to exploit you. That's what they're there for. But, I mean, in a perfect world where, you've got politicians who actually genuinely care about people and they want to move forward.
Yeah,
and they're actually-
non-existent. Definitely
Well,
not
no, they
WA.
exist. They exist.
Yeah, just not in WA.
There's a minority, that's for sure. So there you go.
Actually, I'm starting to change my opinion on one of them. Nick Goran is probably...
He's giving it a go.
I think he'll get disendorsed from the Liberal Party soon.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Because he's not a Liberal member of
Well,
Parliament.
hang on,
Interesting fact, his mother was my French teacher in high school.
Is that right?
Why is
There
it
you
you've
go.
got connections to all these really funky, weird people? Like even
No, I
Dagogo from like Cold Fusion.
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
Like we just say, oh, this random person, then he all of a sudden rocks up with Melissa McCassie. So if you want to watch the Pfizer whistleblower video, edgeradioaustralia.com.
Yeah,
it's underneath
absolutely.
so it is under the subscription section. So you do need to join up at least as a free member.
Yep.
To get access to those videos.
Which, by the way, is going really well. People are joining all the
Hang
time. So
who
great.
organised Julian Assange's father's interview? Was that you or?
That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you actually did something.
Oh.
You walked into that one.
You're right. I'm completely useless. Do nothing. That's right. For 60 hours a week, but that's all right. No, look, I think things are going really, really well, and I think that it's important to, from the point of view of, we've got a position here where we can share such information that's not being heard, and your great message about finding your life purpose. So we'll keep going back to it because it's so damn important. And whether it be the financial side or just escaping the socialism that we tend to be attacked by at the moment, it's great. I mean, so many people are embracing Edge because of that exact reason. And what's interesting, on a little side note of that, is the amount of people who used to listen to 6PR
That are coming across the
across to Edge. We are finding quite a considerable number, or making it known to 6PR and to ourselves that they've actually crossed over. Now, I never sort of saw anybody as an opposition or anything like that, but it's interesting seeing 6PR have definitely changed their allegiance, right? They've definitely become very, very lefty, okay, of late. Once Liam
Bartlett.
Thank you, had left. That was sort of the catalyst. That was kind of the date where things changed there. And then since then, people are just are fleeing like you can't believe because they're sick of this lefty ideology. Now, I don't think everything from the left is negative. I think there's a lot of positive coming from the left.
Yeah, but don't just slam it in our face every 10 seconds.
Exactly. We don't need it in our face. We also, we don't need to be told how to think. What you need to do is use the old grey matter, take everything from each side. So I think, that's quite a compliment. And when people like, I'm trying to think of Rosie
O'Donnell?
No. Posey Parker.
Yeah.
Rosie.
Okay.
Posey Parker, when she came and approached us about.
I find it fascinating that her team approached us.
Spot on. And
So
because why did they say? They said because you are considered the last bastion of free speech in West Australian media, quote unquote.
And I have to say that you did a really good job interviewing her.
Thanks, mate. Well, we're not here about that. We're here about the greater wealth. But I think ultimately,
look, I'd like to thank the speaker for interviewing.
Well, while we're doing it, look, the interview that you did, let's face it, with Malcolm Roberts, Melissa, was just amazing, absolutely amazing. So,
still can't believe you cut my comment.
Yes, we catch it. Absolutely.
What's wrong with bringing up zombies into that?
Because I'm all for free speech, but not stupid speech. Okay.
Just wait. We will get a zombie apocalypse, and then you'll go. You know what? Travis was right.
Well, I think this is where people are, and I think where the population is that they're tired of if they question, they're labelled. Right?
Yeah.
They're either labelled as racist, they're labelled as conspiracy theory.
Where's your tin hat?
And once upon a time, you could have a great yarn debate with someone over a coffee, a cup of drink or whatever, and, agree to disagree at the end of that conversation and still be mates.
You know what? I don't mind being called a conspiracy theorist and all any isms that you do. Just don't call me a flat earther. I'm sorry, they're batshit crazy.
I don't care. I just don't care. I will have a conversation with someone who's a flat earther.
There's one absolute argument against flat earth.
What's that?
We have cats.
So knew you'd go there. So knew that. And with that, let's go to a song. It's Edge Radio Australia, the greater world.
All right, we're on that mic now.
Travis, what are we going to talk about in this third section?
How much time do we have?
I mean, seriously, Aaron, you could go to the next cocktail party and start talking about inverted yield curves. It sounds really.
I know. I'm going to tell you right.
You get impress a lot of people.
I will be knee deep in the babes. Yeah. All right. Actually, having said that, what I'm going to do is.
Have I got an inverted yield curve for you? Have you seen Russia's inverted yield curve?
We do, which is nice having a guest.
What do you want to talk about now, guys?
Okay, well, when we get back, it's going to be a quick year. So, when we get back,
What do you want to talk about?
Aaron,
Let me have a quick look at Fortune 500.
Aaron.
Yes.
Second last toilet roll.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, mate. Thank you for giving me up today on that. I do appreciate that.
But yeah, for the ones listening online, we are actually genuinely looking for a salesperson.
We are.
Ah, Josh is in the house.
Hey, Josh. Good to see you here.
If you don't care what they call you, then you can never lose a debate with the left hard.
Yeah.
Truer words have never been said.
Yeah.
And the reason I do accept the term left hard, not a lefty, is because a leftard is just mentally disabled. There's just something special about them. I call a lefty someone who actually does have a debate with you and can actually hold a conversation with you. But a leftard is just someone like,
did you know about the ChatGPT
oh, that's so much fun. I opened an account. It's hilarious.
officially being woke?
No, I don't know. So
Oh, I found an explanation about that. The Go-Go explained it very, very well. So you got to remember with ChatGPT, it's got to learn from somewhere. Why can't I?
It was a headline that I sent you.
no.
That one. You wrote back you and your headlines.
And was that the one up here? Hang on. You sent me so much stuff.
All right.
So just so you guys know, I'm scrolling through headlines that Derek has sent me. I'm still looking for it.
Would anyone like a drink while I'm up?
Coffee, thanks.
Where are yours?
In my hand.
Do you have that? Glenn, do you want a drink?
No, thanks, I'm right.
Mr. Whitaker?
I'm good, thank you.
Bill?
Is that a real article, by the way?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I had to send
I've
it
been
to you.
sharing a bit of Babylon B lately.
That's Tommy
Oh,
Robinson
it's gold,
news.
isn't it?
But Babylon B is openly satire.
Yeah.
Tommy Robinson news, he actually does have genuine news in there as well, so
Right.
I'm never sure. If anyone can invent a cure for hay fever, not masking the symptoms, but a genuine cure for it, I think that would be the richest man in the world. Or lady, if it's a chick that does it.
All right, I know one.
What, a cure for hay
in
fever?
the future, just here interrupt for a second. In the future, if we're doing shows which we're doing audio bits and whatever, wear headphones.
Yeah.
Would work better.
We're in a studio. There should be headphones here.
Yeah, just there.
Oh yeah. I've been looking.
Travis, what would you like?
Hey,
Which
Aaron.
pair would you like?
My pioneers are just
I
there.
know that. Yeah, no, I see that. And there's two pairs in here. And just
But that's effort. And plus, because I've been blowing my nose so much, my ears are a little bit delicate. So
They are. You
I'd
are
rather
very
not wear
delicate.
headphones.
You delicate.
Do you want to talk about this? That 3 congressmen have introduced a gold standard bill to save loads of dollars value in the US.
That's not going to work.
No, I like the funny one better.
You're all about entertainment.
All right.
You reckon it's an actual?
Put this on and model this.
Why? I've got my one. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm showing like the logo
Yeah.
because it's all mirrored.
Okay.
All right.
The new Edge Radio merchandise. Yay!
So let's throw it out to a poll. Okay, Josh, Taz, and the people listening online. Do you want me to take my shirt off now and put on the new Edge Radio shirt?
Please,
or
off camera.
Off camera.
Off camera, please.
Off camera.
Please.
No questions.
And we can even put on a bit of a.
Talk about
Bow,
lefties.
Yeah.
bow, bow.
I'm going to scrutineering.
Yeah.
I've got both drivers' helmets in their bags. Haven't looked at them. Took them down to scrutineering. They're both wrapped.
Oh,
in
Aaron,
L
shake
foil.
that booty.
They're both wrapped in L foil.
What?
I got set up.
Yeah, it seems that way. Where was that scrutineering? For what event?
What size is this?
It's a large. It's for you.
For me?
Yeah. This was one of the test ones.
I told you Andy's doing some few tests
Yes.
for us as well because he's a little bit more local.
Absolutely. And that's not vibrant enough, but so.
Oh.
Yeah. What? Like you can't have freedom of speech matters?
No, it's not green.
No?
It's like not nearly. It's nearly green.
Well, then, don't, okay. If you don't want to promote the one we've got, the other ones are really, really, really bright. Oops. Can you take your bloody shirt off, please, Mum? Oh, I'm sorry.
Down at Nana.
Oh, tight.
Yep.
Down at Nana.
Yeah, now, for which event?
Forest.
Turn around.
A little bit more length would be nice. So this is a large. I'd probably go an extra large. It's a
Okay.
little bit tight for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just
So
shows
you'd be
you-
like a 7
Just
XL.
shows your muscles. Look
Exactly,
what
it's
it
flex.
is, like.
2.5 minutes.
Okay.
You know what? The shirt's a little bit small. This is a large. Oh,
Do it a
Josh.
fashion parade.
I won't put that. I won't make people suffer.
Show everyone the back. Show everyone the back
It's lunchtime.
The back.
How can you throw up their lunch?
of the shirt.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Oh, baby.
You'll be cutting this out.
So this is the new merch.
Yeah,
This is a test
want
print,
viewers,
so the
not
colours
losers.
are a little bit
What was
faded.
that?
I want viewers, not losers.
Exactly.
Hey, I got a heart.
Oh, nice. Yes, this is a test print. So the actual production ones, the colours will be more vibrant. They're very, very, very bright.
Yep.
But this is good. This is just.
So just for people to know, I'm 6'3" and 92 kilos.
Three and full muscle.
You're making me a Vegemite sandwich.
I shave with a machete.
I can tell you now, it's not full of muscle.
Clearly, it doesn't use it very often. Go on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so this is a large. I'd say this is a little bit short. It's like quite tight in the arms here. So
Have you put on weight, mate?
I
'Cause
have.
you asked for a large.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
Since I started using the voodoo juice,
The voodoo juice.
Yeah.
You're not going to say it online.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to yet.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting for confirmation from HQ.
Can we get that done?
Yeah, I've been hassling them like every couple of days.
All
I'm actually really pissed with that. They're taking so long.
One
I've actually
minute.
put on 5 kilos, but my belt size has gone down.
Oh, right. It's got a girl's waist.
No, I've actually,
You know why
Excuse
they
me.
call this section a woman of waist?
because it's not on the hips.
Sorry. I can't say.
Yes, you
punchline.
Well, family court already calls you a misogynist, so
Oh,
you may
good
as
point.
well.
Good point.
If someone's not calling me something for long enough, hey, I might just become that thing.
Why not?
Hey, how long? Hey, are you playing?
45 seconds.
What is it? Strut it like a lady.
Dude looks like a lady.
Dude looks like a lady. That's so appropriate, especially for the comment you're about to make.
I know.
You know what? I reckon for the shirt, we should get a heap of thumbs up and heart signs just to show how awesome like my modeling is.
Any questions?
Yeah, it's a good point.
A lot of questions about my sexuality, but anyway.
All right.
Yes, I'm married. Hang on, let me change the speakers over.
Mics are now hot.
No, they're not.
I just can't resist this song. Dude looks like a lady. It's Edge Radio Australia. We're doing the greater wealth here, and hasn't that been a subject? Maybe something
With
we
a
could
shirt
talk
like
about.
that, definitely.
Oh, do you know what? Okay, because of my
What my
dress
shirt?
sense, I do get my sexuality questioned from time to time, but it's just because I'm a shy guy. That's all it is. Just floating into the background.
You're not a mushroom?
Not a mushroom, mate.
Not a
Not
fun
a
guy?
Anyway, back to the show, mate. Get into it. Let's talk about gold standards.
Gold standards.
Because there's certainly none around here.
Look, it's really interesting. A lot of people thinking this is, people say this is conspiracy theory and all that sort of stuff. But it's the interesting little stories that slip under the door that
Mhm.
people aren't seeing or being reported in the mainstream media that I like to watch. I like
Yep.
to find them and go, here's what's really happening. 3 congressmen introduced the gold standard bill to stabilize the dollar's value. Yahoo Finance reported on this in the US and Washington. America facing the twin threats of inflation, bank failures. 3 US congressmen in that environment have said, look, we need to introduce a pivotal sound money bill that would enable the Federal Reserve note dollar to regain stable footing for the first time in more than half a century. Now, I could go through their names. They're calling it the Gold Standard Restoration Act, facilitating
Right.
repegging the Federal Reserve note to a fixed weight of gold bullion. That's what they want to do. A lot of
hasn't got enough gold. They
Well-
flogged it all off.
That's a very good point, but it's interesting because I can see ways around that and how to get around
What?
that.
Fool's gold.
You get Mark McGowan to do the mix.
Oh yeah,
Done.
perfect. You know,
I can see ways around it.
yeah. Stop
Yes,
printing
and
money.
and the way you do it, is you would look at what Abraham Lincoln did back in history.
What? Get shot in the back.
Travis, can we have a serious moment for a moment? Honestly, what he did. Well, all right. Backtrack to that. Why did he get shot in the back?
Because he was messing with the currency and a lot of bankers would lose a lot of money, so they organised to have him assassinated. But that would be conspiracy theory thing, and I need a tinfoil hat, otherwise I can't say it.
Very good. So what did he do before that?
I have no idea.
What he did was, of course, he was the one who was financing the Civil War. He did
Yes.
not want to go. What's interesting about history is it often repeats, right? So the Mississippi Purchase, right? It was Louisiana. I forget which one it was.
Louisiana.
Yeah, you're the
Louisiana
American.
Purchase, sorry. He sold that to Napoleon, right? Because
Hey,
or he
wasn't-
bought it off Napoleon, sorry. Napoleon sold it. You know why?
No.
Because he didn't want to go to the bankers to finance his war.
okay.
the Napoleonic War, because the bankers were going to charge too much interest for fighting. Of course, you want to take on Russia, and
Sure.
the big onslaught, and establishing that, as far as Europe was concerned, a great French Revolution.
Yeah,
what,
well.
what Lincoln did was he basically issued the greenback. Now, the greenback was basically to the soldiers, and they could pay their taxes with it. He asked his treasurer at the time, do you think they'll accept it? And they said, if it is backed by the US government, it'll be good as gold. And that's what they did. They took
Isn't that where the term come from? Good as gold?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. And that's where the greenback came in, where they could buy and sell using a different currency at the time.
Okay.
Now I look at that and I go, this is possibly what could happen in the United States is you do away with the US dollar and you set up a different currency. It's been done before. So
roughly 70 years. No, I don't know how long ago.
So you could have as much of gold as you want and say, we'll have it all cut up in these fractions, kind of like what you do with Bitcoin. You know, you can buy a little piece of Bitcoin and break it up. I see that, but a lot of people will look at this and economists will say this will never happen, this will never get through, and they dismiss it and they say the US dollar is not going away in a hurry. And I go, the fact that the conversation's coming up in the population indicates
where there's
something to
smoke,
me.
there's fire.
The fact that this bill is being put forward says a lot about where people's headspaces are going. And I think that's the takeaway from all of this, whether it happens, whether it doesn't, whether it plays out a different way, whether this eventuates or not. The fact that people are thinking this way.
Well, okay, let's look at
not
this
just
way,
thinking,
okay?
they're actually talking, and it's made it all the way into Congress.
Of course.
So that's more than just 3 congressmen. I think this.
But let's think about this. Okay. Right. We always say the petrodollar, okay, the US dollar, petrodollar, right?
Yep.
They're trying to get rid of petrol. They're trying to, let's face it, they're trying to stop that market. Okay. They're trying to destroy the oil market. Well, certainly, you know, Biden is.
Well, there's that, but they're also trying to depeg the US dollar from the oil.
That's kind of my point. Exactly right. So if the two of them are going to go, they're being broken apart. Plus, you've got all this, you know, the BRICS side of things coming forward. You've got the fact that the Russians are selling energy in rubles rather than US dollar, all kind of carry on. I mean, look, I'm no economist by any stretch of imagination, but to me, every sign says that the US dollar is on its way out. It really does.
All right, let's think of another problem here. Right, you've got a massive economy, and they want to back it against something, not just faith and goodwill, but they want something physical.
Hopes and dreams.
They don't have enough gold because they printed way too much money and they sold too much to cover their debts.
Yep.
Does it have to be gold?
Well,
why can't they back it up against another type of precious metal, palladium, lithium, or something else?
Silver.
Why does it have? Do they have enough silver?
There's a lot of silver. I mean,
is silver considered precious enough to back a currency against it?
Well, they used silver coins in the U.S. economy in the past.
Yeah,
you know, as common coin, and so yes, there is value.
They're
in
still in circulation now. Watching a couple of YouTube channels where the guys have vending machines, and they rattle it. They're like, oh, there's silver in here. And then they go through all the coins. Here it is, and it's like 25 cents, where it's actually worth like $5 in silver.
Right.
So they go through. So they're actually still in circulation today.
They are.
So
and if you find one, you hang on to it.
Yeah,
sure.
They're worth a lot of money.
So essentially, okay. If the US dollar collapses, right, what does that mean to you and me? Okay,
it affects
in really simple terms.
Okay, it affects everything. It affects central banks and how they relate to people. It affects what we exchange in. It affects how oil is traded.
Sure.
So it affects trading globally. Okay.
Yep.
And that's then you have to go. The US often leads in different things. So you go, well, how many countries will follow a US cue? So if the United States does something, so we're going to get rid of this.
Yeah.
How many are going to jump on board and go, you know, that's a great idea. Let's do that.
Well, Australia,
even if it's a bad idea, let's do that.
But as Australia, we do whatever the US says, we do it, right?
So that's how I see it affecting other people and other nations. And I think there's a big shake-up going in relation to, and we've seen at the beginning of the show, of, you know, central banks have been a very secretive organization. We don't know a lot about them.
No, we don't.
And now the truth is starting to come out slowly but surely, and people are getting educated on this. So we're in an age of information. We're in an age of people re-questioning things and going, what are we going to do here? And the central bank has revealed its fear, at least it has in the European, is that we want to still control this game. And we don't want another entity controlling the currency.
Well,
that to me is the heart of what's going on. Fear, greed drive the markets. That's
you sound like a crypto guy.
It's a stock market thing. The greed and the fear drives the market.
Yeah, of course it
right?
does.
It's very, very strong for crypto as well.
Oh,
Now,
absolutely.
the cool thing is, talking about throwing it to the universe and then coming back, we've actually had someone offer to do the sales work. So
Hey,
I'm pretty sure it's on your Facebook because it's not on mine.
Right.
So we'll get that followed up off air.
Whoever you are, fantastic. Can't
It's
wait
just
to
coming
talk.
up Facebook user, so I'm not sure. Apparently, they can sell ice to Eskimos.
Oh, look, tell you right now.
So
I'm ready.
we need a
I'm ready.
salesperson.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'll get you to follow that one up
Will
because
do.
it's on your
Great.
stock book.
Sounds good. Beautiful. All right, I think that's the show for this week, gentlemen. Oh, hang on, you got the mouth. You were ready to fire. Come
No,
on.
I'm just saying I love this. You're getting salespeople for the greater wealth. Through the greater wealth.
I know, mate. Jeez, it's all about you.
I want
It
you
is,
guys to prosper. It's fantastic. No, I just
So-
love it. And generally, I love celebrating when people prosper.
I
I think
completely
we
agree
have
with
to. We lose the mindset of tearing people down.
Yep. Couldn't
If
agree
you have
more.
a win, hey, that's great. Let's celebrate. It's a
The
genuine
other
win.
thing that I really want to do here as well. So the whole reason we got Derek into this, we suckered him into it in the first place. I mean, he volunteered to do this. I mean, I begged him.
Yeah, there was gaff tape, cable ties involved. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
a boot.
Police. I swear the police were not involved. So is Derek runs an education course?
Yes.
Actually, quite a few of them. So if you do want to learn more about this, Derek does actually have some very, very amazing courses where he can teach you not only about how the basics of financial systems, but also options trading. Like very, very. I'm doing one of the courses at the moment. It's like, yeah, even I'm struggling to keep up with them. They're amazing courses.
He says, even I'm. Listen to him. Talk himself up. Simple as that.
He's a smart guy. I'll tell you.
Yeah, no.
He keeps calling me a hare for some reason.
A hare?
He tells me, oh, you can do this. And then he's like, no, stop, sit, Bilbo, sit, come back.
Gotta rein him in a
finish
bit.
it to it. Yeah, anyway, so they're amazing courses. So if you are looking at alternative income streams or just working out why can't you get ahead, I highly recommend looking out to blueskyfactory.com.au. So that's BLU skyfactory.com.au and sign up to Derek's courses. What's
Thank
the
you,
other one
Travis.
you've got? The supernatural. No, what's it called?
Supernaturalfinance.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's also a free course that you can do. Derek
It's a
pays for that
6-month
one.
course that our team do that look at the spiritual, biblical, from a biblical perspective of how wealth is connected and how it should be taught. So much of what the church has taught over the centuries is wrong. Right. We look at what does actual scripture say, and it's quite the opposite. It doesn't want you to be poor. It actually wants you to prosper. Right.
And stop apologizing for wanting success.
Mm.
I'm so sick of that in Australia. Like, do these courses, get this knowledge. Knowledge is power, right?
Mhm.
And
You've got
without
to know the rule book to get ahead. And so many people, especially the education system, the reason, just going back to the history, why I had no idea, it wasn't taught at school.
Nope, that's
When I
right.
went to school, we never touched history. So I don't know. If I want to learn history, I'll have to go do it myself. And there's so many things not taught in school because our education department has totally failed. So you've got to do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and it's also because it's government regulated education, and the government, it's not in their interest in something for you to know certain things as far as the education is
They
concerned.
want as many slaves as possible.
Absolutely. We need more people with initiative. We need people who want to step up and actually make the world a better place, right? Simple as that. Happy as that.
And before we run, we do have a comment from Josh.
And that comment is
up on screen right now. No, USD collapsing will be catastrophic. It is the reserve currency of most Western nations. Effectively, all our nation's savings go to zero.
and also their debts, just thinking about that. So that's another little winner out of that one. All right. With that, it is the end of the show. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you for the replay on Sunday, but also we'll see you next week. It's a great
or
world.
Saturday.
What's that?
The replay. Sunday or
No, it's
Saturday?
Sunday, mate. Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the day after Saturday, one before Monday. That's the one. All right. Have a wonderful
Hey,
week.
Aaron,
We'll see you very, very shortly for, of course, you can't say that on Edge Radio Australia.
You didn't realize what he said.
Mike's
And I
still
thought, wow.
I
You
had
talked
one.
about debt cancellation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many people sending me messages.
Oh, yeah, no, I realise it. No,
That was huge what you just said.
I'm not as dumb as I make out.
No, I know. I know. But I was like, you end the show on that. I'm going, we could do an entire show on just that.
Absolutely. I think so. I mean, I remember a few years ago they cancelled debts for a couple of countries in Africa.
Well, they've just done it again.
Which one?
I saw it on the news the other day. Hang on, I've just got to forward these things to the wifey.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the reality is the debts of all these countries, they're not able to be repaid, right? Okay, suppose that. So, of course,
being in debt, you're a slave for life, aren't you, as a country. So,
Well, look at the United States debt, right? So think about it. How do you do it?
So
US dollar doesn't exist anymore.
there is no debt.
just crank
Or
up
is it
the
worth
inflation.
anything?
Spot on. Yeah. No, I've thought about this, but
Why do you think they're trying to destroy the US economy, like their currency?
I think so. I think so.
I think America missed the curve. They shouldn't have sold that gold. They should have held on to it, because if BRICS turns around and does release a currency that's based off gold and they've got the gold to back it, that means it's an extremely powerful currency. They'll probably take over the reserve currency position.
How much gold does the US have? You know that every time. This is the great thing.
Yeah.
I went through years ago. I was considering starting up getting into business of funeral parlors because I thought they're recession proof.
I just stopped for 1 sec.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
On Mike. So funeral parlor,
Funeral
recession
parlor,
proof.
recession proof, right? So I went to the United States where one of my relatives runs one.
Yeah.
And over there, he was taking me through the whole process of how they cremate bodies and this sort of stuff,
I just couldn't burn people. That's all.
right? And one of the things they have to do is they have to filter the ashes. Why?
To get the
People
gold out.
have gold teeth.
Yes, that's right.
And they have to hand that in to the US government.
I'm
We
telling you about that.
And it's just fascinating. You know.
Just all the ways of getting money back into the treasury. Yeah.
I was speaking to a friend of ours. His mother-in-law just passed away, but they're in Thailand. So they went through all the process of how they deal with the body. It's like a 10-day funeral and all this other stuff. And it's actually really, it's, I didn't say who it is. So it's actually really freaky, some of the weird shit they do. So after they cremate the body, they actually take all the ashes and like put it into a shape of a body and then redress the ashes. So if you want the person's luck, you buy a shirt for them, or if they want something else, you put the shoes on them and all that sort of stuff. Like there's all these spiritual, because they're all Buddhists, there's all these spiritual connotations to it. So it's actually considered a lot of respect to the body to do it that way. But because the way I've been brought up, that's just weird. So yeah, he was explaining to it, and like he actually got with the father-in-law. He actually got to be one of the him and the father-in-law got along really well. So when they cremate the body, they actually get all the people that are really important to the person that's deceased to actually do the lighting of the body and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so he got to be one of them.
Very
yeah, it was really, really fascinating just how different cultures treat the deceased.
Well, I grew up Catholic, right? And Catholic, there's just no chance of cremation. Simple as that. It's burial or nothing.
Wow, Josh.
You bring it up, and people turn on you.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I was always wanted to be buried, but my mum, when she, it's an interesting conversation because tomorrow's actually the anniversary of my mum's death.
Yeah.
And today is actually my mum and dad's anniversary.
Wow.
So yeah. But yeah, so when my mum passed away, she wanted to be cremated.
Yeah.
And my dad said, no, Catholic. No way. And I always felt like that's disrespectful as hell because ultimately that's what she wanted. But culturally, people just do it.
Well, the thing is, in India, you don't get a choice
because there's no space.
Yeah. Was it 4,000 people a day or something dying of starvation? So the amount of people that it's just sort of like a conveyor belt, one after the other. They just cremate the whole entire lot because they just don't have space. It's more of a safety thing to prevent like massive outbreaks of diseases and stuff like that. So, Josh just said funeral parlors are a boom industry right now. It's just following on with that one. So there's a post, this dude on Tinder saying no to vaccinated people. And it's like, why won't you date a vaccinated person? He says, I'm not interested in short-term relationships. I was like, that's so good. But yeah. Anyway.
It's actually becoming a thing. I know of people who are dating and that sort of stuff. That's one of the things I want to know.
I actually know someone who put it on their dating profile that they won't go out with Jack people, simple as that.
Yeah.
And they pulled their page down because it's seen as hateful and all that kind of
the whole thing.
But yeah, it's okay for people to say
blood transfusion. You should give that child.
Yeah. I've removed my organ donor status because of that. It's a shame.
I'm not an organ donor because who the hell would want what I've done to my buddy?
No
one wants.
This is the funny thing. A lot of people are like, you're taking your bits and putting into a person. You're not. Most of your body actually goes to the scientific research.
Yeah.
So they just go, all right, let's cut this person up and find out what's happened to them. And
the old story, mine wouldn't go to science, go to science fiction. That's what I said.
Yeah. So you would be the poster child for body abuse.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So,
anyway, let's pull the stream down. Thanks, ladies and gents, for being on. And yeah, and don't forget the merch is coming soon. I've just Aaron was supposed to update the website, but he didn't. He's dumped it on me.
Does it look like I do the IT around here? Seriously.
Hey, you can't even find that any button.
Exactly.
Oh,
You're in
someone
charge of
did
IT.
you like my response to the guy that was asking about they wanted music or something? I responded to him, and they were asking about. So at the end of it, my signature actually said Travis hyphen the guy who knows where the any key is.
Okay. No, I haven't. There you go.
When I typed it out, I thought it was funny.
Actually, someone on another station has been promising to give music to people, like breaking everybody copyright rule.
What?
Yeah, I'll cut that on there.
Hang on, I'll bring it down.
Puts
That's
him
really
in a bit of a
interesting.
grubby situation.
Hang on. Anyway, we've got a gas bag about another station, so I'm going to end the stream.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in. We'll
See
see
you
you
guys.
guys next Monday.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
guys.